Previously on Sights to See.
Hey guys, we're here in Ireland, super excited. So we flew in today. We are in preparation to go out for the evening. It was kind of quiet earlier, but the streets are starting to pick up. And if you take a look down here, you can see everybody's getting out and starting to enjoy the night. It's only about 9 o'clock right now, but everybody's starting to come out and get into the spirit of things. So they actually celebrate the entire weekend down here for St. Patrick's Day. Sunday's gonna be the big night, so we're excited about that, and the St. Patrick's Day parade. And so we've got like 4 nights of shenanigans to get into. We're really excited about that and happy to share this whole experience with you guys too.
Are you ready?
About to do this wrong side driving here.
Yeah. Well, we're all navigating.
Got the GPS right here.
Yep, I'm about to get out here, not do anything.
We got full coverage, it's fine.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, the taxi driver basically said it's better to get honked at for going slow than for going the wrong way.
Oh, I'm gonna be getting lots of honks. Are we going the right way?
Yes, sir. We are going the right way.
Which way do I go?
You are going to keep going straight.
Yeah. This is a 3-man operation.
Oh, it is.
Oh boy.
Everybody's got to focus.
Yep. We got
Got green light.
53 minutes and 59 kilometers. Alright, 4.4 kilometers, you're going to turn left. And we're going to be basically at the visitor center.
The drive to Newgrange was a great chance to get acclimated to driving on the other side of the road, but it didn't take long to find out that there would be a lot more to see outside the big city than just what was on our list. This is Delvin Castle. It's built by the Nugent family, descendant of Gilbert de Lacy, brother-in-law of Hugh de Lacy, Lord of Meath. Looks like about half of it is left standing, the western half of the castle with the two towers. We're gonna go check it out. Looks pretty cool. Tell you what, this is worth waking up for. So there's a cemetery. The castle used to be in 2 parts. A lot of it's in ruins now. There's still walls going through the city. I guess it used to be a moat around here. But we're gonna head inside and see what we see. So we got into the castle over here. It's kind of a big complex. We got into the inner square of it, and we're gonna head on here and have a look around. It seems like people used to be a lot shorter back in the day, because everywhere I've been so far, I've had to bend over quite a bit. I think one of the places that we went to said the average height was like 5 foot, or maybe even under back then. With that, we headed out from Delvin Castle, the first of many castles like this we would find just hanging around, and beat feet up towards the Giant's Causeway. We had a long way to go, around 250 kilometers in fact. And as often happens on long trips like this, boredom can lead to some very weird places.
How do the dogs sound in Ireland? And what about the sheep? And what about in Ireland? What do the elephants sound like?
Fuck, I don't know.
The Giant's Causeway Hotel is where we stayed that night. Situated at the top of the trail, it was the perfect place to crash if we wanted to be out in time for sunrise. Man, these waves are pretty incredible.
Look at all the shapes, man.
Giant's Causeway was so incredible that we dedicated an entire video to it, which you can check out in the links below. But before we knew it, time had come to head out for our next location, the Cliffs of Moher. Getting there was a longer leg of the trip, so that meant another hotel was in order.
So it is morning time here in Ballybofey, kind of finishing up in the area, heading on to the Cliffs of Moher today. And as you can tell, it is a little bit drizzly out, but it's supposed to clear up a little bit by the time we get over there. So yeah, looking forward to that. We got some stops along the way, some places we discovered while we've been here that we're gonna go check out, and got a nice scenic drive ahead of us, so that's coming up.
Making our way down south, the skies parted to show another beautiful Irish day. Spirits were high, and we were able to make our second unscheduled stop, DUNGUAIRE Castle. Located across the bay from Galway, DUNGUAIRE Castle is a 16th century fortress, mostly restored. There's a lot of history within these walls, and it has changed hands many times over the years. From kings to clans to families, and finally the government, it is now a state-run tourist facility open to the public. From April to October, the castle plays host to a banquet tour, which allows you to go inside the castle and share a meal with friends and other guests. We were a few weeks too early, however, so we could only explore the outside. This was the best look we could get of the interior, and as you can see, it was pretty cool. Wish we could have got in, but hey, there's always next time. Thankfully, we weren't far now, and we had just enough sunlight to make one last stop before we got there, the POULNABRONE dolmen. I can't believe I finally got to see these things in person. These massive stones have held up over thousands of years, with this one being one of the best preserved. It sits high up on the mountaintops, surrounded by limestone karstlands as far as the eye can see. A few goofy pictures later, we finally made our way to the Cliffs of Moher. You can check out the Points of Interest video to learn more about the cliffs themselves. We, on the other hand, had another issue. You see, we arrived at around 4 in the afternoon, knowing we would have plenty of time to get out to the farthest point, some 6 miles away, by sundown. We'd have to hurry though, something you really shouldn't do up here, because the high winds and slippery trails make it super easy to go right off the edge. We made it safely just as twilight hit, but when we looked back, we found ourselves with a new problem.
We didn't really think about the fact that coming back would be walking in complete darkness with literally death like 2 or 3 feet from us on each side.
Like, there were times where we were inches away from instant death. and really wouldn't know it if it weren't for this little guy right here, which, by the way, I don't know if you can tell, that means it's dying, and it's been dying for the last, what, mile and a half, give or take, of the trip as we've been walking. So shout out to the light maker here, because it's a solid product that literally saved some lives tonight.
Hopping back in the car, we turned in for the night. The next day's drive would take us all the way down to Dingle Peninsula. We were making good time, but constant travel was starting to take its toll.
How them guts?
Bubbling, bubbling, rumbling, 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 rumbling.
Bubbling, doubling, doubling.
Oh, aye, his guts are bubbling. And we're paying the price.
Yeah.
As we puttered along, we noticed that the landscape was starting to change again. We had beaches on one side, sure, but to get to where we were going, we'd have to cross the mountains that had started encroaching on our other side. And you know what that meant? More narrow mountain roads. Before we knew it, we started climbing higher and higher again, with our little rental that could doing everything in its power to keep up with us as we stopped constantly to soak it all in.
Went through a harrowing path, surrounded by cliffs and drops and sheep climbing on mountains, and Dingle is just right out down there.
Dingle Peninsula is famous for many things. The Dingle Marathon takes place here every year, leading runners around the entire 26-mile peninsula. The town of Dingle has hosted an international film festival since 2007. But the thing we'd heard the most on our trip was that Dingle Peninsula had some of the most beautiful sunsets in Ireland, and to be on the lookout for the Blasket Islands and the sleeping giant that lies there. We got to the peninsula with a few hours to spare, so we decided to take the long way around the top to get to our hotel. This way, we could see as much of the area as possible, rest up, and then head out in the morning. But they were right. The views were spectacular. Getting down to some of the best vantage points put Tim a little further out of arm's reach than we would have liked, but you really can't argue with the results. The turquoise water, green grasses, and the oranges and pinks in the sky, every corner was filled with scenic view after scenic view after scenic view. As the sun went over the horizon, we decided to call it a night here, joining the sleeping giant out there for a little rest ourselves.
Here at Dingle Peninsula, it's an amazing place. We've only just got here today, and we're leaving tomorrow. And this place has sights to see and more than enough going on for at least an entire weekend, 3 to 4 days. So Dingle Peninsula, highly recommended.
After pulling out of the most narrow hotel parking lot of all time, we started the last leg of our trip, which would take us all the way back around to Dublin. Along the way, we found yet another roadside castle, this one much more decrepit than the others. And of course, we just had to check it out. We couldn't find a name on it anywhere, but it was clear that these walls had been here for quite some time. Ducking through what remained of these halls, you couldn't help but be impressed by the craftsmanship. We could even see the old foundations of stone underneath the cement renovations. The central tower stood tall, with what remains of the second floor running just below the air loops there around the middle.
walking around in Cork. It's been a good trip. This is about the tail end of it.
I beat the shit.
Yeah. Somebody's had diarrhea and throw-ups for like twice this whole trip.
Now we got typhus.
Now we got the typhus going around.
Yeah, so we're kind of scaling it back a little bit on these last few days and just taking it easy.
Yeah, we
Yep.
beat the shit.
We are going to St. Finn's Cathedral.
It's a steeple right over there behind that building. You can't see it right now.
Check out an English market as well.
The English market in Cork sold pretty much exactly what you'd expect. Meats and veg, trinkets, and keepsakes as far as the eye could see. Which brings us to our last stop, Glendalough. This quiet town holds one of the oldest monastic sites in all of Ireland. Stepping through the stone double archway, we found that most of the structures, the church and the priest's house, date back to around the year 800, shortly after the town was founded. The round tower found here is almost 100 feet tall, and it's still in near perfect condition, despite being over 1,000 years old. And as we looked out from the highest point in town, it finally hit us. The trip was over. We were done. I know, we also felt like the end came too soon. It's funny, even though we were ready to get home, all we could talk about was figuring out any excuse to come back. Ireland was one of the most beautiful and friendly places we've ever been. Thank you all so much for watching. Hit that subscribe button to catch our latest shenanigans, but most of all, travel safe and have a great week.